Hello, seekers of the true path. Welcome to the Anusandin channel. Today, we will know the story of the birth of Jesus Christ. A long time ago, in a faraway land, nestled amidst rolling hills and fields, lay the village of Bethlehem. It was a quiet night in Bethlehem. A bright star shone over the sleeping village. All was well in Bethlehem until a couple named Mary and Joseph began their journey into town. They traveled on the back of a humble donkey along dusty roads lit by the starlight above. As they approached the town, the sound of distant singing reached their ears. It was the sound of angels praising the Lord. As they came closer, the singing grew louder, and the sight before them took their breath away. Angels filled the night sky, their voices echoing with joy as they celebrated the birth of the Savior. Meanwhile, Mary stood in the corner of the stable gently touching her belly. She felt the baby moving inside of her, and she knew that this was no ordinary child. This was the Son of God, come to earth to save humanity. Mary and Joseph stopped in awe, witnessing this celestial spectacle together. As they entered the stable, they saw Mary and Joseph kneeling beside the manger, gazing at the sleeping baby. They knew this was no ordinary star. For years they had studied the stars and their movements, and they recognized this as a sign of great importance. As they approached, they saw the shepherds kneeling in awe, and knew that this was the place they had been searching for. As the three wise men entered the stable, they saw Mary and Joseph kneeling beside the manger. The baby Jesus lay peacefully in the manger, surrounded by the soft, glowing lantern light. The wise men were filled with wonder and knelt down before the baby, offering their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They gathered their belongings and said goodbye to the stable that had become a place of worship and hope. With Jesus in their arms, they started their journey home, guided by the bright star shining overhead. The birth of Jesus Christ echoed not just in the hearts of those who witnessed it, but throughout the ages. The star that guided them continued to shine, now a beacon of hope and faith for all who looked up to it in the night sky. Excited by what they had seen, the three wise men prepared for their journey. The rising sun cast long shadows as they continued their journey, painting the landscape in hues of gold and crimson. Mary and Joseph walked on, their steps lighter with each passing moment, knowing that they were carrying the hope of the world in their arms. The simple blue robe that Mary wore and the rough wooden manger where Jesus lay became symbols of his sacrifice and love for humanity. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. And as the years passed, the story of Jesus' birth continued to be told, reminding people of the true meaning of the season. The birth of the Savior who came to earth to bring hope and salvation to all who believed in him. They gathered their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and set out to find the newborn king. They shared their experience with others, spreading the news of the newborn king. As word of Jesus' birth spread throughout the land, people from all over came to see him. Some were skeptical, while others were filled with wonder, but all were drawn to the story of the humble Savior who had been born in a stable. The shepherds were filled with awe and knelt down to pay homage to the newborn king. The bright star shone overhead, casting a warm glow on the couple and the animals in the stable. They shared the story of Jesus' birth and the meaning behind it. The wise men were in awe of the humble beginnings of the Savior and realized the true meaning of Christmas. People from all walks of life gathered there, sharing in the joy of the season and celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. Mary and Joseph stood together, watching the people come and go. They knew that this was just the beginning of Jesus' story, and that he was destined to do great things. With Joseph by her side, she brought the baby boy into the world. I have good news that will bring you great joy, that today in the town of David, a Savior has been born for you, who is Christ the Lord, they announced. The shepherds listened intently, their hearts filled with anticipation. The angels then disappeared, leaving the shepherds to ponder the message they had just received. Filled with curiosity and a sense of purpose, the shepherds decided to visit the newborn king. As the first rays of sunlight peeked through the cracks in the stable, they wrapped the baby in a piece of cloth and laid him in a wooden manger nearby. The sight was both humbling and inspiring. The Son of God, born in a humble stable, lying in a manger surrounded by animals. With no other option, Mary and Joseph settled down for the night. Joseph spread some hay on the ground and laid down beside Mary. Mary cradled herself, feeling the presence of the baby growing inside of her. As they lay together in the darkness, They knew that they were a part of something bigger than themselves. Mary rode patiently, holding on tight to her pregnant belly as they walked slowly underneath the radiant glow of the star. They beckoned to Mary and Joseph, guiding them towards a nearby stable where animals were gathered for the night. "I'm sorry," said the shepherd. "There is no room for you in the inn." He led them into the stable where straw lay on the ground and animals were resting. This was not the welcoming that Mary and Joseph had hoped for, but they knew that God had a plan. Mary was dressed in a simple blue robe and a white veil. Her eyes were gentle and kind. As Joseph turned to help the donkey, an angel appeared to him, radiating a bright light. "Don't be afraid," the angel said, his voice like a trumpet blast. "For this child will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High. The Lord will give him the throne of his ancestor David, and he will reign over the house of Jacob forever. The territory of his kingdom will have no end." And though she was tired from her journey, there was a peaceful expression on her face. She looked down at her belly and smiled. The child growing inside of her would change the world. Little did she know how soon that prophecy would come true. They passed fields of sheep and cows grazing peacefully, their bells tinkling softly in the night. But their moment of wonder was interrupted by the urgent call of a nearby shepherd. Joseph helped Mary off the donkey, and the two made their way deeper into the stable. Overwhelmed with emotion, Joseph fell to his knees in prayer, thanking the Lord for this incredible news. As Joseph rejoined Mary in the stable, the two looked around at the humble surroundings and knew that this was where the Son of God would be born. The hours passed slowly, and soon it was time for Mary to give birth. Suddenly, another group of angels appeared, this time with a message for the shepherds who watched over their flocks nearby. As the shepherds approached the stable, they saw the bright star shining overhead. It was the same star that had guided them here. In the distance, the three wise men saw the same bright star shining in the night sky. Guided by the bright star, the three wise men traveled across the land, following its path until it led them to the stable in Bethlehem. Mary and Joseph were overjoyed by the gifts and welcomed the wise men with open arms. Meanwhile, the shepherds who had been the first to witness the birth of Jesus returned to their flocks, their hearts filled with joy and gratitude. As the night wore on, the stable became a place of worship. As the first rays of sunlight peeked through the cracks in the stable, Mary and Joseph knew it was time to leave. As they walked, the sounds of the night faded away, leaving only the soft cooing of the baby Jesus and the gentle lapping of water from a nearby stream. And so the journey of Mary and Joseph came to an end, as they returned to their humble home in Bethlehem. The humble stable where Jesus was born stood as a testament to his humble beginnings. We hope you enjoyed this cinematic retelling of the classic Christmas story.